as we're ready to go here at Pauley. UC San Diego in white, Southern in the blue, and the opening tip is controlled by the Jaguars.
Well, both teams were talking about their defensive prowess and how tough they would be.
Take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One, the Southern starting five. Anaya Gordine, the leading scorer, the SWAC tournament MVP. Leah Fontenot is a good shooter. Tiana Ledge in the post. And DK Sanders will run the point for this Southern team. There's good defense from San Diego as Gallegos comes away with it. And the first possession for the Tritons as they'll bring it across half court. Their starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. We talked about Sigapong. Sabrina Ma, newcomer of the year in the Big West. Gallegos had the big game in the final. Kiana Spriggs and Parker Montgomery, fifth-year grad student from LA, making a homecoming here, playing in the NCAA tournament in LA.
Well, speaking with Heidi Vanderveer, the head coach for San Diego, she said, listen, this Southern team, they're going to be all over us with a myriad of defensive schemes, and we just have to be patient and not let them speed us up, whether it's full court or in the quarter court.
Gallegos kicked it to Montgomery, who couldn't knock it down, and here comes Southern back the other way with Sanders into the front court.
Southern wants a quick pace of play, and that's not just fast break. They want to get early offense and get some early opportunities to take shots and make shots.
Gordine, their leading scorer, just under 12 points a game. Good balance. She got free for the first two here at UCLA.
And nice patience there. Got right into the gap, 10 toes down in the paint, and that makes it tough. I know there was a slip by her defender, but someone else has got to pick up for her.
You can see how Sigapong is going to draw a lot of attention from this Southern defense. Ma's a good shooter, tries it from deep. Little too strong, and a foul's going to be called on Kiana Spriggs going over the top. First foul on Spriggs.
Sabrina Ma, she shoots it at a 35% clip from three, and saw some zone there from Southern defensively.
Well, history continues. There's a Vanderveer coaching in the NCAA Division I tournament. Heidi taking the baton from her older sister, Tara, who is in attendance here today in her 13th season as the UC San Diego head coach.
Well, it was so great to catch up with Tara prior to this game, and she is still on staff there at Stanford in a Coach the Coaches program. She's writing a book called Excellence, and I love it. I always love catching up with her and speaking with her.
Montgomery on the baseline couldn't get it. Offensive rebound for Spriggs. Second chance here, and what's the call? It's an offensive foul. It's the second personal quickly on Spriggs, and it is.
Well, that makes it tough because now you have to dig into your rotation 2.5 minutes into this one. Defense set, established, and the contact was made by the offensive player. Spriggs is going to have to take a seat, and she almost traveled anyway, so it was like you preferred a travel call rather than a charge.
I think Heidi Vanderveer preferred the travel because this is not a UC San Diego team that has a deep bench. They play pretty much 7 over these last few weeks.
Yeah, and as the season goes along for most coaches, as you know, the rotation gets a little tight. And Southern, like I said, go 10 or 11 deep, so they're an anomaly when it comes to the depth at this juncture of the season.
So Erin Condren comes on. Condren scored 10 points, had 6 boards in 26 minutes off the bench against UC Davis in the Big Sky Championship. Sky Castro, post for Southern, has come on for the Jaguars. There's Castro.
You see defensively here by San Diego, it looks like a zone, but it's kind of a matchup zone where they switch 1 to 3. They don't do a lot of switching typically.
Feed by Gordine, but Jaguars unable to finish, and it will be UC San Diego basketball. And one of the biggest fans of this program is in attendance.
I love it.
We gave her a little heat pregame because she's got to swap out the Stanford quarter zip for a UC San Diego quarter zip. She pointed out I still work at Stanford, as you mentioned. She's working with everybody there. So we allowed it on the drive, a little too aggressive, and an offensive foul called on Southern. But Tara could not be prouder to see what her sister's been doing with this UC San Diego program, going from D2, reclassifying in that 4-year period, and here they are in the D1 tournament.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, super proud as you see that call there. going the other way with it. San Diego staunch and stout on the defensive end, collecting a charge. But Tara Vanderveer, I mean, that name, it just speaks as excellence. And I know she's writing a book named Excellence, but just look at her storied career, coming back, winning a championship after 30-year gap in between titles. I mean, just amazing.
There's that Southern defense. Ma had it knocked away, and here come the Jaguars in transition. And Montgomery there to deny things on the defense line. Jocelyn Tate into the game, freshman for Southern, trapped in the corner. And that bench is fired up for UC San Diego, making it tough on Tate. It'll be UC San Diego ball.
Tate had about 8 people guarding her right there. 1 was on the floor, and about 7 right behind her, clapping it up, saying, yeah, give it up, give it up. Yeah, pressure. Bust pipe sometimes, and that time it was a whole turnover, but that was a collective effort.
San Diego, for the most part, may play 7 on the court, but more than 7 are involved.
Absolutely, especially right there. That's a tough place to lose possession.
So after the slow start shooting for UC San Diego, 0 for 3 to start, Sigapong gets them going, gets the first points, and that is the first basket in the D1 tournament for UC San Diego from La Jolla.
Yeah, both teams specified how well they needed to rebound. It's going to be a battle of possessions. And you think with 2 staunch defensive teams, it's going to be somewhat of a rock fight, but that's not the case. Both of these teams are capable of scoring in bunches.
Another turnover for the Jaguars. Gallegos has it knocked away. Picked up by the Jaguars and heading to the basket. Unable to get it is Gourdine. And then a battle for it on the sideline. It'll be UC San Diego basketball.
Nice scrap by both teams. I mean, it is just 2-2 right now, so maybe it does seem like somewhat of a rock fight, but a couple of empty possessions by both teams, but it's due to great defensive efforts. And right there, you get by the primary defender, no secondary defender there to wall up.
We expect every possession to be contested. These are 2 evenly matched teams. They are fighting to play #1 seed UCLA here 2 days from now at Pauley. Sigapong's going to come up short, but she follows her miss. Great shooter, left open, but Montgomery trying to find the range.
Sigapong is going to have the basketball in her hands, whether she's shooting it or being the initiator on spray out opportunities for her teammates, and they've got to do a better job of knocking those kinds of shots down. Sabrina Ma is the highest 3-point shooter, 35%, but everyone else is around 26-27% from range.
It's going to be an offensive foul on Tate, who got that left arm up. There's Carlos Funches in his 7th season as the Southern head coach. Spent 14 years as an assistant before taking over. So here he is, the SWAC Coach of the Year, back in the NCAA tournament, 2nd time in 3 years.
Yeah, and 2 years ago they played Stanford. Tara Vanderveer told us we played Stanford.
They played up at Stanford against Sacred Heart. Yeah,
so that was interesting. A dynamic there and the connection of dots with the Vanderveers.
Yes. Both teams piling up the turnovers here in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. We expected that against good defenses. 2 teams that pile up the steals. We have our first media timeout. Low scoring so far at UCLA. Welcome back to the first meeting all time between Southern and UC San Diego. So Carlos Funches, you know, it's like, oh, how do I know that name? Dr. Dunk was his nickname when he won college dunk contest back in 1991. Now, I remember Dr. Duncanstein, who was Darrell Griffith for Louisville.
Yeah.
And I had my memory refreshed about Dr. Dunk.
What was your nickname when you were dunking it like that?
Definitely not Dr.
Not that? Oh, okay. Listen, he had the bunnies and the kangaroos activated clearly, flying through the sky. Get up there.
Out of the media timeout, Southern gets a basket on the inside from Sky Castro to make it 4-2. We did challenge him. We said, you know, do you have any of your signature dunks still saved up that you could run out there? And he just stopped. He goes,
no.
You should have checked him about 20 years ago, maybe.
Just Nerf hoop. That's it now. Nerf hoop is getting destroyed.
That sounds like that's an Achilles wrist. Off the miss. Here comes Southern on the push. And Sigapong, good job defensively. The officials look at each other and they say it was last touched by UC San Diego, be Southern basketball. It feels like things are going to be tough for scoring today, but this came easy for Southern out of the timeout.
Yeah, straight line drives, committing 2 to the basketball, draw 2 and see 4 mentality.
Sanaya Reed spots up and knocks down a 3. Southern makes on average 5 threes a game. Not a huge part of what they do offensively.
Yeah, Heidi Vanderveer said we really have to do a great job with the straight line drives.
There you get a little taste of Sigapong on the drive.
That is what they need. They need for her to stay aggressive on the catch and put pressure on the rim just like that, because she has a fanciful skill set with fabulous footwork down inside. Tough to stop if you don't put your foot on the baseline.
Same spot as before. Why not for Sanaya Reed? Back-to-back threes for Reed to put Southern on top by 6.
Sanaya Reed says, hey, that's my sweet spot. You're not going to take it away. She's waiting for the defense to play her in a different way.
Sigapong, you can see how swarmed by Southern she'll be every time she touches it. Now Ma on the drive. Good feed to Condren for 2.
Yeah, and that's another great example of drawing 2 to the basketball. How do you get open? You have to move well without the basketball when you see the defense morph like that, like bees to honey. And now it's your job to get into an open area.
Gordine can't hit, and a second chance here for Southern.
And they're trying to get recalibrated here on the offensive end, trying to get into a horn set, trying to free some avenues to attack, but San Diego's doing a great job defensively.
Gordine, little hesitation, then hits the gas and gets to the basket for 2 more.
But it was the weak side defense that was taken away there. And it was almost like a semi-screen, not allowing that defense to rotate to the baseline.
Foul's going to be called on Southern outside the 3-point line.
Now watch right here, great patience by Southern. And there was a switch defensively, and then look at that weak side. You can't get over to help or contest at the rim. And just get in the way and be disruptive. All of San Diego's points have been in the paint so far.
Gallegos checks out for UC San Diego. And just into the game is Janae Mahan, the redshirt sophomore from Stockton. And she's fouled. The previous foul was on Reed, her first. And it'll be a trip to the free throw line for Mahan, averaging a little bit better than 4 points a game. Had 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 17 minutes off the bench in the Big West Championship on her birthday. That was a good way to celebrate.
Birthday buckets.
For the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Get you started with first 4 today and tomorrow. Iowa State came from behind to knock off Princeton by 5. Audie Crooks went for 27.
Yeah, and she also said, we have a chip on our shoulder right now, and I love that, right? That's a young team, but they are playing with some force and intentionality, and I love it.
Another straightaway 3 and a make by Reed. 3 in a row for Sanaya Reed from the same spot.
Tic-tac-toe.
And then answering is the top 3-point shooter for San Diego, Sabrina Ma, as things start to open up a little bit. 2-2 out of that first media timeout, and now buckets starting to fall.
Well, I like it, and both teams are finding their niche. Oh, my goodness.
Sanaya Reed is into double figures with 11. She's the number 2 scorer for this team at just over 9 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, she is on a proverbial heater right now, for sure. From range, you run her off the line, then she gets to her mid-range package.
Find 14, why not? Or find Tanaya Lawson. She can't hit, and the rebound knocked out of bounds by Southern. It'll be UC San Diego basketball.
Well, it's been a difference maker the last several possessions for Southern. They have made the plays necessary. Look at Reed, run her off that 3-point line. She gets right to her 1-2 dribble pull-up to the left and knocks it in with ease.
So Reed is 4 for 4 from the field. She's got that 2, the 3 threes, giving her 52 made threes on the season. That's number 1 on this team. Montgomery trying to get going, cannot. And it'll be Southern basketball.
Yeah, that was a tough look right there. She was off balance. I thought a little quick to release that one. And after starting 1 for 4 from the floor, Southern has picked up some heat there. 6 of 8. Their last couple of attempts on the offensive side, so they've found some comfortability And they've been able to shrink the defense down and get those viable looks on the offensive side.
Tate heads to the bench as DK Sanders comes back on. Final minute of the opening quarter. First 4 at UCLA. Sanders, 8 on the shot clock. Feeding it into Tiana Lidge. And Southern stays hot after the slow start.
Now, San Diego did a good job there of helping the helper. They had nice baseline rotation defensively. That was just an excellent shot. The mechanics, timing of the offense was perfect.
6 to go in the quarter. Rebound ripped down by Lawson. And that will do it for the first half. So a very slow start shooting for Southern, but they heated up. They went 7 of 9 from the field to close out that first quarter.
Yeah, super tough. Southern has been blistering the nets, a little pitch back action, and those threes have been raining.
Reed on the season, 37% from outside the arc, #1 on the team. No one's made more threes than her, and she's like, I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it. I'm open again.
Yeah.
Gonna take it.
Right, but if you're in a cross match, I know if I was checking her, I wouldn't go all the way out on her either because she's gonna rip and go and attack my hip. So she's taking full advantage of those cross matches on a couple of those threes.
Once again, Southern disruptive, getting another steal, and here comes Sanders across half court, and guess who is firing again, but off the mark? It's Reed with her first miss.
Heat check, but hey, listen, I'm not mad that she shot that. Right, you have the hot hand, you're playing with confidence. You're open in transition for a pull-up triple, you gotta pull.
Open look for 3 for Montgomery, still trying to find the range. Montgomery now 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc.
And that's tough because she's another player for San Diego who can knock in shots. She shoots 33% from range. Started 27 games this season, so one of the players in those 7 that Vanderveer goes to.
That's going to be a traveling violation. Turnover on Southern. It's interesting, too, when UC San Diego, Christie, brings it up the court, how Southern is just giving all the attention to Sigapong. They know that everything is focused on her and just flows through her for this UC San Diego offense.
Yeah, they go to her, they go through her on the offensive end, and as I said, she can be an initiator, or she can score the ball herself, but it's up to everyone else around her to stay aggressive with their off-ball activity. And they've got to do that by setting and using good screens.
Mahan on the drive, good strong take for 2. So Mahan got the early free throws, now she gets her first field goal. Brings it down to a 6-point game as Sanders brings it across for the SWAC champs.
Well, I like that attack by UC San Diego on that last possession, but they've got to get a hand up quickly. On the other side, I said Southern likes to get into their offense very early in the quarter court. You got to be ready.
Sigapong for Mahan. Mahan from the corner. Can't get it, and it's saved by Edwards for Southern.
Well, Sigapong right there, she just put on the full display. Dribbling that basketball, I mean, split the defense with ease.
Another 3 for the Jaguars. Gordine from the corner. She's got 7.
And that's the danger, right? Statistically, like you said, on average, 5 made threes for Southern, but they pretty much have that right now. And we're not even to halftime.
Mahan for Ma. Ma, good feet inside. Unable to finish, though, was Condren.
Condren's got to get that basketball in the middle of the square. I mean, that was a perfectly fed pass there. Little pocket pass to the weak side. Got to finish.
She usually does 54%. There's 5. 5 threes and a timeout called by UC San Diego. They are on their season average for the 5 threes right now, and there's still 7:18 to go in the first half.
Well, it makes a difference, and that's why we call it March Madness. You got to be ready for what they are doing right now. Even though you didn't scout them for these threes, they're hitting them now, so now you have to adjust. Well, when you have Crooks inside going 12 of 21, I mean, that's a lot of shots that she was able to manufacture down in there for 46 paint points. And she's going to be a problem, especially her saying that they're hungry and wanting more is what I love about her and her competitive makeup and her energy that she brings to the court every single game.
Addie Brown also at 22 in that game, and Emily Ryan, senior point guard, 9 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, and a foul's going to be called on Southern as UC San Diego goes a little deeper into their bench. Damiola Sule, senior from Bakersfield, comes in. 17th game played. The bench situation, as you take a look at the national rankings in scoring. Southern getting almost 24 points a game. That's 36th in D1. UC San Diego, 267th in D1. And the bench has been big for Southern so far. Sigapong can't get it to drop. And that's going to be a foul called on Sule.
Yeah, Sule was just out of position there, and then it's really tough not to touch up anybody in that situation because your competitive fire is burning bright. But you just have to have the discipline and the body control to hustle back.
UC San Diego played 7 the last couple of games. Now they have played 8 so far here today because of the early foul trouble with the 2 personals on Spriggs. Saved by Southern. No reset of the shot clock. It's at 5. Another 3 on the way, and another 3 made by Southern.
6 of their 12 made field goals have been triples. I mean, they have been letting it fly, and it has paid dividends for this huge lead that they have. And it's also been their defensive pressure. Look at this.
Yeah, Gordine now at 10 points and another steal for Southern and almost another turnover. Fontenot fighting inside, but now she lost a handle. And UC San Diego trying to end this run. 11-0 run right now for the Jaguars.
Yeah, they really need some composure here in the quarter court, looking for 2-player action.
Another turnover. That's 8 now for the Tritons. Fighting inside is Sule, and a jump ball. Sule is down. Possession arrow will keep it with Southern.
She looks to be all right, but boy, they have been ravenous with their attack on the defensive side. Southern has really been terrific.
So Sule will check out, and a move made here by Heidi Vanderveer as she will bring in Kiana Spriggs with the 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, she got those 2 fouls right out of the gates in the first quarter, so they need her presence, especially inside.
On the run a little too strong by Tates, 1 and done, and here is the rebound by Sigapong.
Maybe they can look to establish Spriggs.
Trying to get Gallegos going. That's one way to do it. Goes to the left hand. Redshirt sophomore from Denver getting her first points.
Now I love that. And she stayed connected. And that's how she was able to be a whirling dervish on that finish.
Up off the window and in. Another bucket for Reed.
Reed has just been completely overtaking UC San Diego.
Christy, she's got 13 points. Her season high was 11 coming into today. That shows you the impact she's made off the bench.
Yeah, and it's March Madness, right? It's anything goes, and you got to be aggressive, but you also have to be confident in the work ethic that you have put in to get you here in this first 4 contest.
Sanders, defended by Montgomery.
I mean, there hasn't been a possession that Southern hasn't been in attack mode, looking for double drag action right here. 2 screens on the elbow.
Reed, another one. Sanaya Reed continues to be on fire.
And this Southern team has just been completely mesmerizing on the offensive side of the floor. I mean, they're getting what they want. They're setting and using screens, reading and reacting off of one another.
So Southern took a timeout correction. UC San Diego took the timeout. We'll take it as well. That's the only way that Sanaya Reed's going to be quiet. It's just 60 seconds coming up. Yesterday, Alabama State knocked off St. Francis at the buzzer. Amar Knox with the game winner. Do you know who Amar Knox's fiance is?
I think it's
DK Sanders. You are right.
I wanted you to say it.
So DK Sanders and Amar Knox, when we talked to DK a little bit before the game, is there something that you have to try to top him on? Like, no, that was a good moment when we get married probably next year, but congratulations to Amar getting the game winner for Alabama State, getting a win for the SWAC.
I love that so much, the love and basketball aspect. That was one of my favorite movies of all time. So, love and basketball alive and well in this year's NCAA tournament.
You mentioned at the top of the telecast, too, this is great for UC San Diego because they have not just the women, but the men in the NCAA tournament. And they are in Denver getting ready to play tomorrow to make their Division I tournament debut. They'll play Michigan in Denver tomorrow, and they are watching in Denver. So hello and congratulations to the UC San Diego men.
Yeah, shout out to them. And look at this, 2 years ago, they went on a trip to Italy together. The men's program and the women's program, Heidi Vanderveer said it was so great. They're so cohesive and unified, and that just speaks to it right there.
Men beat UC Irvine for the Big West tournament title to earn their spot in the Division I tournament. Of course, the women had great success at the Division II level. Most recently, they made the D2 tournament in 2020. They are in Hawaii getting ready to play, but we all know what happened at this time in 2020. COVID hit, pandemic. They had to go back to San Diego, couldn't play, and then the next year started their transition to Division I, and you're ineligible to compete in postseason tournaments for 4 years.
Right. I mean, they have 18 postseason appearances, 13 of those at the D2 level and 5 of them at the D3 level. So they're poised for March, but this is the D1 level of March. So it's going to take some getting used to, as UC San Diego is still trying to get acclimated here in this game.
Sanaya Reed with it, looking for more and getting more. Sanaya Reed, unstoppable right now for Southern. 17 points for Reed, and UC San Diego has 15.
She has been flat out vicious with her attack on the offensive side, and she's just done it in a myriad of ways, and they just have not found a way to disrupt her.
Sanders gets called for the foul as Sigapong was getting set to drive.
Look at Reed right here. Sizing up, getting that pivot foot down and pushing off and attacking right there at the nail. She has more points than the entire team of UC San Diego, as you said, and that's just insane to think about.
Sigapong trying to get free, trying to get heated up. She's got 6, but it's all Southern in the first half here at UCLA.
And no second chance opportunities before that one, and you really have to fight for extra possessions when you're not getting those initial shots to fall. You got to fight for those second and third.
I mean, Sanaya Reed,
come on, man.
The smile is wide as she came back across half court. She is just in that space where you feel like the rim is about a mile wide.
Yeah, just keep shooting it. I mean, at this point, she scored the last 8 points for Southern. Amazing. Keep it going. She's in a pressure cooker all by herself.
Sigapong kicks to the corner. Montgomery finally knocks down the 3. She's trying to get going. She was 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 on threes as she knocks that down for her first points.
Well, both teams riding high momentum coming into this one, winning 3 in a row, respectively.
On the drive, Jocelyn Tate, the freshman from North of Little Rock, gets her first points. Carlos Funches says that Tate will be an all-league player, maybe a conference MVP. That's how much potential she has. Sigapong comes up short. Rebound for Gordine. Southern back the other way to Tate. Gallegos with the block. Tate sticking with it. Condren cleans it up for UC San Diego.
And that's the defense that they need.
Montgomery with the pull-up 3. Maybe not the right shot at the right time. Sigapong was on her right and open.
And no one was inside the painted area to rebound. So that's a tough take. See Southern flattening out in a 1-4, looking for that high ball screen action here. Let's see if they have drop coverage. They're switching 1 to 5. Another switch.
And it's going to be a shot clock violation as UC San Diego gets a stop with 1:02 to go before halftime.
Sigapong right here missed this shot, but ran into the stanchion and was slow getting back to her feet.
It looked like Christy, too, before she even hit the basket support, little wobbly step there as she went down. So hopefully a sophomore from San Diego.
And just 3 of 8 from the floor so far, but, you know, I still think she needs to stay aggressive with her shot attempts and continue to put pressure on them.
19 points a game with the Big West tourney. Had that driving lefty layup that we showed you before the opening tip with 2/10 left to beat the #1 seed Hawaii in the Big West tournament.
And they're blitzing her.
And she lost the handle. That Southern defense once again getting it done, forcing turnovers. That's 10 turnovers in the first half for UC San Diego.
Well, Heidi Vanderveer told us this morning, she said, hey, listen, they are on task when it comes to walling you up and taking away passing lanes. They chase the ball well, and you saw that in that defensive action there in the corner.
Sigapong gets called for the foul. That is her first. 2 team fouls, 33.1 to go before halftime.
And Southern has no fear right now. They're just going right at you and daring you to make adjustments. Look at that.
Dean turned it over. Here's Sigapong. She'll do it herself, and getting back on defense and getting the stop. It's last touch by Southern are the Jaguars. Good job defensively again by Southern.
Well, Southern understands the assignment, right? And that is to make shots by Sigapong difficult. They are all contested. She has not had one wide open look. She has been jammed up. She has been contested, deflected, blocked. And that's why she's been on the floor several times in this game, because she's had to dig through the mud to try to create some offense.
Sigapong, the runner is too strong. 4 seconds to go. Time here for Gordine. Pushes it across half court. On the run at the buzzer. Count it. You could not ask for anything more if you're the Southern University Jaguars.
No, just amazing. You see the game clock running down and see if it gets out of her hand in time, and I don't think so. I don't think so. But either it's going to be a 21-9 second quarter barrage by Southern, or 23-9. So I think that shot's going to be disallowed as they adjudicate it right now and come up with a decision. But yeah, you can see she's a waitress right there with the basketball in her hand.
She still has the tray. That's good waitressing right there. You don't want to leave your finger.
No, even though it was a nice float game, but I don't think that's going to count.
Infinity Robinson is at the monitor right now, so we will see if it's 42-20 or 40-20. I think saying no basket, that is the call. So 40-20 our score at halftime. Back to the studio, Kelsey, Muffet, and Megan.
And let's see what UC San Diego does differently defensively against her here in the second half, because she was, in essence, just unstoppable with what she was able to supply on the offensive end.
She'll be on the bench to start things here in the second half. The original starting 5 out there for the Jaguars. On the run, basket from Parker Montgomery. She's got 5. Samaya Sigapong held to 6 first half points for UC San Diego. She played all 20 minutes. She was 3 of 10 from the field.
Well, for the Tritons, that's a good sign for them to come out, get a piece of the paint, and get a bucket. You're not going to get home run plays. You got to hit a lot of singles and then take away the paint on the other side.
Gordine feeds the post on the turnaround. That won't drop. One and done, and here comes Sigapong.
Both teams had 10 paint points in that first half, but the difference was those threes by Southern.
Montgomery, wide open look for 3. Great start for UC San Diego. Parker Montgomery, back-to-back baskets. It's a 15-point game.
Montgomery, a 33% shooter from range, but she has some ice-cold cold-blooded emotion in her eyes right now, I would say go through and go to her on the other end. If they can get another stop here and start stacking stops, which they did, now come down and score again. UC San Diego has found a different level.
Spriggs on the inside is fouled by Lidge.
And Lidge just a beat late there to try to deflect that pass, but wow, coming out of that halftime locker room, you've really seen some solid energy. A little swing triple to the wing, to Montgomery paying it off.
Sigapong leans in, comes up short, and a rebound by Sanders.
See the defense.
Sanders accelerates, dishes to Lidge. Great assist by DK Sanders, who leads the team in that category.
Yeah, hot knife through butter. That's what I call a play like that. I mean, just strategic and surgical with why you're putting the ball on the floor. And coaches love that. Don't just be aimlessly dribbling the basketball. You dribble to score, not to explore.
Sabrina Ma, offensive foul.
This is what Southern has been able to do so incredibly well, right? They're going to get a piece of the paint, draw the defense, and then dump it off to the weak side. That rotation, you can't be behind the weak side player. You got to drop down in front, and you can't be late. And Southern is counting on you being tardy for the party, and that's why they were able to score that bucket there.
Ma picks up her first personal foul. That inside again, great job by Southern finding Lidge back-to-back trips.
And Lidge did a tremendous job on that weak side, holding her seal on the inside to catch and finish.
Gallegos, they say it was knocked out of her hands. It will stay with UC San Diego.
And look at how well Southern has been connecting the dots on the offensive end. Look at that pass, but it was the seal for me. That's what I mean. They've been playing seamlessly.
Christie, 13 assists on 19 made field goals. UC San Diego returns the favor, the feed inside to Sigapong.
Sigapong wanted an and one on that, to no avail. And here comes that long run, pick and roll game that Southern likes to execute. And counting on UC San Diego to switch on that action.
Gordine. Gallegos with the rebound.
Heidi Vanderveer said that we have to rebound well, which they did, but they also have to make shots. They did well in that first half, +5 on the boards.
Sigapong leads into a deep three.
Well, they need her. Sigapong leads the team in points, assists, and steals, but only shoots at about 26% from range. So the threes, that's not necessarily out of her wheelhouse or skill set, but the fact that that went in, that should boost her confidence that she can get something going offensively.
Up to 11 points now. Tough shot, rebound by Gallegos off the miss by Gordine. Pressure in the backcourt, and here comes Sigapong, wide open for another three. 14 points for the sophomore. Will Southern take a timeout? They will. Different game coming out of the locker rooms at halftime. It's an 11-point deficit right now for UC San Diego.
Look at Tara, she is loving the moment, feeling the surge of momentum for her baby sister. Just tremendous energy out of the halftime locker room. Sigapong, ring it up from 3.
Really needs to come in the second half. Okay, and it doesn't have to come, it has to come every possession for 20 minutes. We're not going to get one 20-point possession. It has to be 1 possession, 2 possessions, 3 possessions, okay?
I didn't sense paint peeling off the locker room stalls. Very measured, analytical, patient in the locker room at halftime.
And you have to, and that paid dividends, right? You come back out on the floor and do what got you here. And that was to stay maniacal with how you execute on the offensive end. In that first half, UC San Diego shot 29% from the floor, 8 of 28. In the second half so far, 5 of 6 shooting from 2, 83%. And they've made all 3 of their threes. And they have been surgical in their pursuit of consistency on the offensive end here to start the second half for sure.
13-4 the scoring in the third quarter in favor of UC San Diego. Southern goes to the bench. Jocelyn Tate is in, and also into the game Sanaya Reed, who had those 19 first half points. So Carlos Funches bringing in his spark from that first half to try to turn things around here after a very slow start in the third quarter. 5 on the shot clock, and here is Reed. Reed defended by Montgomery. And she's fouled, taking a 3 as the shot clock expires, and she'll shoot 3 free throws.
Heidi Vanderveer is shaking her head no on that one, and I don't know if it's the incredulous whistle or the incredulous decision to get a touch here on the arm.
Clearly on the arm.
Yeah, and I guess she was shaking her head to Montgomery like, no, don't do that. And not that it was not the proper call. But wow, you play solid defense for nearly the entire shot clock. And then with 1 second left, you bail them out with that shot.
These are the first free throws of the game for Southern, and Sanaya Reed has a new career high. 20 was her previous career high. She has passed that mark already. 5.5 to go in the third quarter here in this first 4 game.
Well, she has been sizzling hot on the offensive end for Southern. Just tough to stop her, whether she gets fouled at the end of the shot clock or knocking down threes in drop coverage.
22 for Sanaya Reed. Here's Gallegos on the other end.
Gallegos not able to crack the code, which is that elbow area, those gaps well defended.
Good help defense. Guess who came in for the block? Sanaya Reed.
Yeah, I mean, Sanaya Reed has been wearing a cape all game. Do you hear me? I mean, she has been superhuman and a superhero with that big block, sending that straight out of bounds. That's big time defensive stuff.
Shot clock winding down. Spriggs trying to take it on the turnaround. In trouble. More good defense. And it's a shot clock violation. So Southern gets the 3 free throws out of the timeout on the offensive end. They get the stop on the defensive end, and they take over. 4:58 to go in the third quarter.
We were talking about how both of these teams bring a stout defensive energy and personality to the floor. It's March Madness time. You got to bring your A game offensively because that defense is coming right at you with some veracity. From NC State years ago, but she is going to be a tough player to stop. Terps have a lot on the plate, and Florida State and George Mason also, I think, is going to be a great game. My cousin Vanessa Blair Lewis is the head coach at George Mason.
All right. So now we know you went with your alma mater and family for 2 of your 4 games. I like your style.
You know, it's family
You're
first.
not hiding it.
Family first out here.
Out of the media timeout, basket for Southern. So after that run by UC San Diego, it's been answered here by Southern. 5 straight points for the Jags.
Yeah, and that foul on that 3-point shot kind of opened the floodgates back for Southern. Late in that shot clock, got tagged on the arm, and then now they're back into their attack mode mentality that they had in that first half.
Gordine on the ball right now. Here's Lidge. The handoff to Reed. Reed defended by Montgomery. Lost the handle, Montgomery has it. Sigapong up ahead. Look how Southern scrambles back defensively to make it tough on UC San Diego.
Yeah, just got right into the paint and crowded that area completely. And made a difficult shot attempt for Montgomery, who was off the mark.
Knocked away by Ma, battle for it, and a tie-up. And
oh, boy.
No one wants to give up the basketball right now, even after the whistle.
As they should.
It will be Southern basketball.
Fight for what you want. This is March basketball. Nobody wants to give up the 50-50 opportunity. Deflections. They have been on task defensively. And then right here, whistle's blown, and then a little extracurricular physicality afterwards. I mean, no one wants to quit on the possession. That's how it should be.
One team will pick up their first ever NCAA tournament win here today. The other will see their season come to a close. So everything being fought for, and great fight by Southern after that 8-0 run by UC San Diego.
Let's see if they can get back to what got them those buckets. And it was great spacing, good composure. Now you see two players drawn to Sigapong.
Sigapong showing the handle but unable to score. A little frustration as she jogs up the court.
And nobody else was moving, right? She had 2.5, 1.5 defenders on her. Somebody else has to make a move and have a dart of an off-ball cut to free her.
Carlos Funches wants a timeout. He'll take it with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. What was a 20-point halftime lead currently is a 16-point lead. The winner of this game will take on the #1 overall seed, UCLA. That will be on Friday, 10 Eastern Time, 7 Pacific on ESPN. Of course, UCLA, the Big Ten tournament champions. Lauren Betts picking up first-team AP All-American honors today. We all know last year UCLA lost to LSU in the Sweet 16. They've got plans of trying to be in Tampa Bay, and you've seen them up close. They've got the firepower and the talent to get there.
Yeah, first time in the Big Ten Conference, and they came up with the tournament title. And Corey Close has her team playing their best basketball right now, and that's what you need at this juncture of the season.
30-2 overall record after picking up the victory over USC in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament title. Richmond and Georgia Tech, the other teams here in Los Angeles. Richmond and at-large out of the A-10.
Yeah, Richmond, they can blister the nets from three, so I want to see what Georgia Tech's defense. Nell Fortner is a savant when it comes to strategy.
Offensive foul is going to be called on Sky Castro. That's her second.
Yeah, let's take a look at that last sequence. A straight line drive, Reed trying to get it inside. I don't know if she quite had full possession, but she was outside of her body in terms of control and balance.
Erin Condren heads inside the post up. Condren muscles it inside for two.
Yeah, I thought she may have gotten away with an extra half step in there, but got the bucket nonetheless, especially down in the paint. And I think that's where UC San Diego and the Tritons need to continue to attack in there.
Looking for the pass inside. UC San Diego's defense there. Kicked over, open three is on the way, and good. And Parker Montgomery with the fist pump as well. It's now an 11-point game.
For as solid as that offensive sequence was, it was the defense. In that first half, UC San Diego was getting eaten alive on that weak side feed. They've covered it up decisively well here in the second half with deflections and steals, taking it the other way.
Not getting the roll this time is Reed, and it will be Triton basketball.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Great defense right here. Here's the drive, and it's disallowed. That weak side pass is not going as fluidly as it was in that first half. And then the spray out triple in transition, one of the toughest shots to guard because everyone else is walling up the paint. Spray that thing out to the corner. The dirty corner three is what Heidi Vanderveer likes to call it. And that one dropped home nicely.
Edwards back on for Southern as Reed heads to the bench. Here's Sigapong, little hesitation. And she is fouled and will head to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
You can feel the surge of energy by the Tritons here in the second half. And they have put pressure not only on the primary defender that's screened off, but the hezi and attacking that next line of defense has really paid dividends.
I think back, Christy, to the Big West Tournament quarterfinal game against Cal Poly.
Yeah.
UC San Diego was down 11 in that game. They didn't take a lead in that game till there was less than a minute to play in the game. So this is a team that very recently has fallen behind and had to stick with it and chip away and get stops and turn it into points on the other end, which Sigapong does.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that next game in the semifinals against Hawaii, it was the same thing. They had to fight from behind, and you're seeing that same fight here with some 1-2-2 pressure. And Heidi Vanderveer said they would apply it sometimes after some made free throws, and you saw it displayed on that possession.
Here's Sanders, defended by Montgomery. Fontenot on the drive, on the run, too strong. Condren with the rebound. UC San Diego has outscored Southern 20-9 here in this third quarter. And we're in the final minute of the third.
And a dribble handoff, DHO.
Off the iron, no good. Offensive rebound. Condren needs help, or does she? She still got it off the rim, but couldn't connect. And Sanders with the push back the other way for Southern. Now she'll settle things down.
Well, she needed help off the window and flick that wrist back to the backboard to get that one to go. Found herself in some trouble under the rim.
Chance of defense by this crowd that is made up mostly of UC San Diego fans. About 2¼ hours from La Jolla here to Westwood. Traffic permitting. 4 on the shot clock. On the cut. That won't drop. Fight for the loose ball. Knocked out of bounds. And it will be UC San Diego ball. Plenty of time to get something organized here. 8.1 to go in the third.
Oh, absolutely.
Into the hands of who else? Samaya Sigapong.
Bring her a drag screen. There it is.
Little hesitation. Got the shot off in time, and it won't drop. But a great quarter for UC San Diego. They were down 20 at the half, and now we've got a ball game, 9-point game.
Yeah, absolutely. Pushing tempo. March Madness at its best. Fourth quarter ahead.
Back in Westwood, we take a look at the top half of the Spokane Regional 1 brackets. Richmond and Georgia Tech will get going on Friday. UCLA taking on the winner of this game. 10 Eastern time on Friday night. In Waco, it's Baylor and Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon in the tournament for the first time, and Ole Miss taking on Ball State. Those matchups on Friday. A lot of interested observers here today, including the head coach of UCLA Bruins, Corey Close, watching this game closely because the winner will take on her Bruins. 20-9 the scoring for UC San Diego in that third quarter. What flipped?
Well, you saw the composure by UC San Diego, and they just played with some intentionality on both sides of the floor. They were taking away the painted area, and I think that was a major key. They were walling up on those threes and communicative on the screening actions.
Three-pointer is no good, and Southern touched it last. It will stay with UC San Diego. The score at halftime was 40-20.
How about that?
For Southern. So UC San Diego put 20 on the board in one quarter after they put 20 on the board in the first half. Here's Ma, good three-point shooter. That won't drop. And Southern controls this rebound with Lidge.
We spoke with a couple of players earlier today at shoot-around for UC San Diego, and they said, you know, in that game against Hawaii, we just never felt like we were going to lose that game. So they have that mentality to tap back into right now and see if that can pay dividends for them to continue to close this gap.
Knocked away by Condren. Shot clock down to 3. Off the mark on the take, and a rebound controlled by Sigapong for Ma. Looking for Sigapong, who lost the handle.
She was trying to get that basketball to the weak side, and I think she tried to do a bounce pass instead of just a shovel pass, which I think she would have been better served to utilize there.
14 turnovers now for UC San Diego as Fontenot dribbles out and now pulls up.
UC San Diego still in that drop coverage on those cross-match actions. But the difference has also been Southern has not been knocking in those triples as frequently as they were in that first half, and that comes with fatigue. So they shot 67% from 3 in that first half from range.
I'll take you one further. They haven't attempted a 3 in this third quarter. They get the 2 here and a chance for a 3-point play. Counted as Lidge will go to the free throw line.
Well, if you can't strike from 3 from the outside, go downstairs and get it yourself. Get your own touch. You don't have to worry about an entry pass. And when you attack the old glass like that and put it up with some force.
Second foul on Montgomery. Condren will go to the bench. Lidge can't finish off the 3-point play. Ripped away by Mahan, who will bring it back across half court. Montgomery transition 3. Wild shot won't drop, and Edwards has the rebound.
And Montgomery had Ma in the corner, and I think she should have had that extra pass, giving up the good for the great for that one. Because no one was guarding Ma right there in the left corner.
Sanders for Fontenot. On the pull-up, it drops in for Gourdine.
And that's what Southern did well in that first half, right? They were able to attack the painted area, get 10 toes in there, and get that float game going in the mid-range.
14 now for Gourdine. Spriggs to the basket, kicks to Montgomery. Open look for three. That was halfway down, and it came back out.
Just a microcosm of the offensive frustration to open up this fourth quarter for UC San Diego. I mean, that thing was halfway in and just rimmed out. Double drag action by Southern. See Sigapong trying to stay skinny and getting over top.
Three-pointer missed by Sanders. And here comes Sigapong. Edwards trying to slow her down.
And she's right in her pocket. Look at that defense. Oh, just too much belly right there.
Little too aggressive. That's one thing that Carlos Funches raved about with this team. We have great perimeter defenders, but a little too aggressive apparently for Edwards.
Well, Heidi Vanderveer said that Edwards was their best on-ball defender, and you knew that Sigapong was going to draw her defensively, and it's when she stood up is when she lost her defensive energy right there. You have to stay in the stance and push off with that outside leg and stride and keep your shoulders in front and square.
Mahan, that won't drop. Montgomery's got the rebound. Sigapong knocked away. Gourdine showing a little bit of that defensive tenacity and intensity.
And said something about it too, like, give me that, I think is what she said, because she's right in front of us when she tapped it out of bounds. Oh my. I mean, the dogged energy on defense. I wouldn't want to dribble. I couldn't dribble anyway. I was just catch and shoot from inside, but I wouldn't want to put the ball on the deck around any of these players from Southern. I mean, they are right on it.
Good ball movement. They find the open shooter in the corner, Montgomery. Fourth three for Montgomery after the slow start. She's got 14. Sigapong has 16. It's back to a 10-point game.
Well, Montgomery has come alive, and they have needed that, taking some offensive production stress, if you will, off of Sigapong.
Tough take to the basket by the freshman, Jocelyn Tates, for two.
Well, at this point in the season, you're already a sophomore. I mean, you've played enough minutes to manufacture that kind of confidence, to take that kind of a shot in March Madness. That's big-time stuff.
Sigapong defended by Sanders. Back out to Montgomery. 8 on the shot clock. Spriggs back outside. Sigapong open three. 19 for the sophomore from San Diego, for UC San Diego.
Well, the Tritons are continuing to fight. Fans are on their feet. And they need some consecutive stops here to keep that offensive momentum going.
Gourdine. Montgomery there defensively.
Ooh.
Gourdine through traffic. The floater is good. The senior from Baltimore who started her career at Temple, coming up with big plays on the defensive end and the offensive end for Southern.
Yeah, she got by about 3 turnstiles on that side and just would not be denied down in the paint. That was a big-time bucket, serving up some confidence.
Here's Mahan trying to back in Gourdine. Oh, beautiful dish. Inside for two, Spriggs.
Holes in her pocket right there. Oh, dropping dimes like that to the weak side. That was just magnificent in terms of strategy and execution on the offensive end.
4.5 to go in the fourth. First 4 game between Southern and UC San Diego, and Ma gets called for the foul. 4:25 to go in the fourth. We still have a game here in Westwood.
Sharing is caring. We're more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. Right there, look at that great connectivity.
Christy, did you know we were joined by royalty today? There's a king in the building.
I thought that was you.
No.
No. Okay. Who is it then?
There's only one king.
Oh,
It's
okay.
King Triton.
Darn it.
Can you tell? Is he nervous? Is he excited?
Good.
Is he just vibing right now?
Yeah, he's vibing. I think he's good. He likes the band. The band is
Got a great dentist as well. Those teeth are amazing. You know who the queen is for UC San Diego, though, of course, is Sigapong, who just gets things done for this UC San Diego team.
Yeah, the Tritons are led by the queen of the court. Especially down the stretch here, she has come up with some big bucket-making ability. And it's been the extra passes that have been made by her teammates to set her up straight, because she has not been able to manufacture anything when she puts the ball on the deck. She draws 2.5 defenders and can't get herself to the rack. So what does she do? Give it to her teammates, relocate for free and easy opportunities to strike from range, and she has been magnificent, especially here in the second half.
Most outstanding player at the Big West tournament, which was won in Henderson, Nevada by UC San Diego over UC Davis. Had an 8-0 run to start that game, never trailed, but they've been playing from behind here tonight against Southern. Family is always turning out. I think that's Dad just up on the aisle, just out of the camera view, wearing the number 3. He's just having a calm moment right now.
Okay. Oh, there he is. That's all right.
He knows it's tight. 4:20 to go. His daughter needs a basket here, and they need stops if they're going to pick up their first ever NCAA tournament win at the Division I level. Here's Mahan.
Girl dad cheering for his baby girl.
Sigapong doesn't get the roll, and one and done, the rebound for Lidge.
See, this is a tough shot, and I like the actions by the Tritons when she's not the initiator offensively, when she's off the ball, if you will. And her teammates are the ones setting her up for easier offensive opportunities. That one was a tough bucket under duress.
Gordine with 9 on the shot clock. To Lidge, back to Gordine. Deep 2 is off the mark, and the rebound for Spriggs.
And Southern counting on the Tritons to go under on those screens. Just couldn't drop that one in from range. Coming down to it. Got to manufacture some offense, but this defense is stout by Southern.
Mahan backing it in, turning it around, off the window for 2.
And that's some mayhem for Mahan on the block. It's not just post players who are supposed to be able to execute post moves. Every player should be able to be a hooper and make a play like that.
Sanders tiptoeing on the sideline, kept it in play. Southern trying to work some clock. On the turnaround and dropping in, Lidge gets the basket.
Lidge took the lid off on that one. But the Plinko roll got that much needed deuce for Southern.
11-point lead for the Jaguars. 2.5 to go. UC San Diego could not ask for a better look there.
Yeah.
Outstanding 3-point shooter, just would not drop.
And you can see now Southern taking their sweet time on the offensive end, not rushing any actions, holding the lead and trying to use their offense as their defense, but the defense takes it the other way.
Montgomery with the steal, and she is fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Too conservative from Southern right now?
Well, sometimes when you try to take the foot off the gas pedal, this is what happens, right? Trying to just, hey, we're going to take the shot clock down to 8 or 9. No. And I love that the Tritons and Montgomery said, no, you're not going to walk us down and burn this clock. We're going to go ahead and take it the other way and still put pressure on you. And Parker Montgomery has had such a solid second half.
Sure has. Solid career, really. 5th year, the grad student. She committed to this UC San Diego program and to Heidi Vanderveer, thinking that she was going to be part of that transition period to Division I from Division II and never have a chance to play in the postseason. But then COVID came along. Yeah. You got an extra year, and here she is playing in the postseason, winning a conference tournament championship, and playing in the NCAA tournament as a 5th year.
Yeah, Heidi Vanderveer said that her staff did such a great job of decorating the hotel and celebrating
Montgomery gets the steal. Sigapong has an opening, and Fontenot got in there with the defense and knocked it off of UC San Diego Southern basketball.
Oh, that defense coming up huge again for Southern. Let's see what transpired on that last possession. Sigapong, yeah, right off her leg.
Timeout is called by Southern as Gordine had a little trouble getting it in. That will leave the Jaguars with one timeout, 1:47 to go in a 10-point game. Largest lead for Southern was 21, but this fourth quarter has been solid for the Jaguars to keep it at a 10-point lead. So the winner of this game takes on UCLA Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern time. They'll be on ESPN. Richmond and Georgia Tech will get things started here at Pauley Pavilion on Friday. Georgia Tech, of course, got off to that great start this season, a 15-0 start for the Yellow Jackets. Danny Carnegie, the ACC Sixth Player of the Year.
Yep.
Definitely one of many names to watch for Tech taking on the Richmond team. As you mentioned, they can score.
Yeah, from all over the court, but especially from three.
Corey's smiling now. This is the good, yes. Hi, Corey. This is the good time now.
Oh.
Just prepping. Everybody else is sweating things out for these first 4 days. Oh, how about this play? They go for the long pass to Sanders. Her fiance, Amara Knox, scored on that home run pass for Alabama State where she used to play, but there's no need to score right now. You need to get it in, work a little clock, 1:39 to go. Yeah. So smart play by Southern.
Yeah, you were talking about a home run pass. This is a touchdown with some spiral on it on this one. A wide receiver, the recipient of a nice launch of a pass on that play.
Thrown to the backcourt to Fontenot. Gets it across to Gordine. UC San Diego really gambling now on defense, and Ma gives the foul.
Yeah, and you have to take risks right now, and you cannot let Southern salt the clock away. So you saw the blitz and rotate defense applied there by the Tritons.
Foul called on Ma, was her fourth.
And that's the fourth team foul, so the next one will send them to the line. So see if they'll foul right away here to try to get more possessions back offensively. There it is.
And Sigapong will give the foul. That's the second personal foul on Samea.
Just running out of time here for the Tritons, and every single time the Tritons had some momentum, Southern had an answer or two on the other side of that and just disallowed them getting over the hump in this game.
So Southern has who they want at the free throw line. 82% free throw shooter, the senior from Fresno, Texas, Aaliyah Fontenot. Heidi Vanderveer wants a timeout right now after the miss. Not in a position where you can advance it yet with 1:22 to go. Have to go inside of a minute.
Only like 5 of them over there, and no, it feels like it's 50
not the
of them.
football size, but like big things come in small packages for that group.
Yeah, no, they probably have about 50 people over there, but I mean, it is.
No, really, I couldn't hear
loud.
you.
Yeah, you couldn't really?
Fontenot makes one of two. There they are.
No, they've been awesome, and the timeouts, and my shoulder's been wiggly. You know, it's been fun. They have great energy.
.115 to go, Sigapong to Ma. Ma steps into a three and gets it. Sabrina Ma, not done yet, playing with 4 fouls, knocks down her second three, and here's the pressure in the backcourt. And it's kicked by Mahan.
You see Coach Nygaard, one of the assistant coaches for the Tritons over there, saying, get up after this three. Ma coming off of that screen. And again, you're too far away. On those triple tries, you got to close that gap and step towards that shooter.
Gordine was thinking about that long pass again. And it's a 5-second call. Turnover, Southern. UC San Diego takes over.
You can see the Tritons just pouring on their defense and just laying it all on the line. You know, no holdback. You see Heidi Vanderveer and Vanessa Nygaard sitting right next to her. Played at Stanford for Tara Vanderveer, who's in the building watching her sister, Heidi Vanderveer, the head coach for the Tritons there.
Foul's going to be called on Sanaya Reed. That'll be the third team foul on Southern, so no free throws yet for Heidi Vanderveer's team.
Trying to get a quick bucket here and see if they can get some screens to get a clean look.
Mahan hangs in the air and gets it off the window for two.
Can they do it again?
In the corner, it's Reed in trouble in the backcourt. And a foul is going to be called on Sigapong. That'll be her third.
Trying to blitz and rotate, take away that sideline, getting a foot on the sideline to turn him back. But this is the previous bucket right here. Mahan just nifty footwork down in the painted area. Gets it up and under. She has been very deliberate with her decisions and fluidity down inside in this one.
Fouls on Spriggs, so correction, it's her third personal. Sigapong with 2 personal, and here is Reed, 68% on the season. Adds to her career high now with 23 points.
And she was on a heater in that first half. I mean, she was not going to be denied bucket-making ability, especially from 3.
So now, inside of a minute, UC San Diego take a timeout to advance it. Down by 8. 49.9 to go. It's the first ever trip to the Division I NCAA tournament for this UC San Diego team. So obviously looking for their first ever victory in the D1 tournament. This is the 7th trip for Southern. They're no strangers to the tournament, but they are looking to celebrate a victory for the first time, and they are 49.9 away from doing so.
Yeah, they've just been tremendous in terms of their consistency. They've taken a lot of tough hits in terms of momentum swings from the Tritons, but they have stayed disciplined, been very smart, especially on the defensive end, to take things away, especially early in the quarter-court offense.
Well, Montgomery and Ma and Sigapong, the good shooters, they worked something for Ma, but Sigapong stepped on the baseline. Turnover by the Tritons.
Just ran out of space there on the baseline. Oh my goodness. The agony of this turnover you could see all over the face of Sigapong right there. Steps on the line, man. Oh, I know she wants that possession back.
Ma gives the foul, and she has fouled out. The junior from San Francisco, who spent the previous 2 seasons at San Jose State. Impactful first year in La Jolla. And she'll head off the court. 6 points tonight, 2 of 6 shooting, all 6 attempts from beyond the 3-point line.
You hate to see the emotion. You know how much hard work they've put in from day one to today. And you never prepare your mind mentally. If you're a competitor, you never compare your mind mentally to losing a game. So that's why it hits so hard. You see the emotion of all that investment and sacrifice.
Bourdin at the free throw line. Gracie Gallegos back on the floor. She has not played much at all for this UC San Diego team tonight. Because Mahan's played well. But Heidi Vanderveer is going to take a timeout. Down by 9 with 44.5 to go, and she'll advance it. Have it advance to the front court. Are you thinking 3 right here with 44.5 to go, or are you trying just to get the best, quickest basket you can find?
I like going for a quick shot and a high percentage shot. But I know, the time is not on your side right here. And the way they've been shooting the 3, well, in the second half, they've been a lot better. but I think I would go for a quick 2 and just try to continue to chip away. I mean, you heard Heidi Vanderveer in the halftime locker room say, just keep chipping away. Don't go for the big play, so I think she's going to stick to that philosophy here.
Well, the top 3-point shooter for UC San Diego is number 15, right side of your screen, Sabrina Ma, so she's out of the game, so you're down one of your best shooters.
Right.
Montgomery or Sigapong would be the next choices if you're looking for a 3 here. As we reset things, UC San Diego out of timeouts. Still the foul to give for Southern, possession arrow with Southern.
And I think you have to get Sigapong off the ball. Mahan has been good in terms of her one-on-one activity and ability to finish. And usually it's the inbounder that gets the opportunity. Let's see if that holds true here with Mahan entering the ball.
They get it to Montgomery. They do look for the quick 3. Montgomery off the mark. Tipped out and controlled by Tate, who was fouled by Montgomery.
And Montgomery has been hot from 3. And although she missed that one, I still think, and I'm not obviously overcoaching or saying that was the wrong thing, but in retrospect, I'd like to see her get downhill and put pressure on the defense and at least get to the free throw line to get something.
So I think a timeout was called by Southern before a foul was called. And it's going to be Southern basketball on the side, opposite from the benches. 38 seconds to go. Fontenot, good free throw shooter, will come into the game for Southern.
And I think, to be clear, I would say the same thing had that 3 gone down by Montgomery.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not, oh, well, she missed it and that's why you're saying it. No, I still think there's a lot to be said for making them defend in the paint.
9-point lead for Southern. They led 19-11 after the first quarter. It's a slow start for both teams, but then Southern was the team that found their rhythm and started to get shots to fall first.
They did, and they went right back to that, you know, regain their momentum after the Tritons really forced their hand and settled down offensively and brought great energy to the floor out of the halftime locker room, but Southern surged back because they were able to get consecutive stops and rebounds and steals.
Gordine ready to trigger the inbounds for Southern. Jaguars have 8 seconds to get it across half court. Fontenot is fouled right away, so that doesn't matter as Sigapong gives the foul. That's her 3rd. Southern won the SWAC regular season title, ending Jackson State's 5-year title run. As we mentioned before, their last trip to the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, they played at Maples against Sacred Heart in a first 4 matchup. Trying to set up a meeting with UCLA here Friday night at Pauley.
Yeah, and Tara Vanderveer told us before the game, she said, you know, I had my eyes on them. You know, when she was still coaching at Stanford, they were at Stanford playing in that first round game, and she said, hey, they're not new to postseason competition, right? And sometimes that experience makes a difference.
4 players who appeared in that game on the roster today for Southern. UC San Diego out of timeouts. Montgomery gets a great look at 3 and it wouldn't drop. Rebound grab by Tate. She is grabbed and will head to the free throw line to shoot 2 with 23.6 to go in an 11-point game.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better look than that one. You know, they've been doing a great job setting that flare screen action. It just rims right out for Montgomery. And try to go in for the jump ball.
Tate at the free throw line. You make a great point about Carlos Funches, his staff, a couple of these players going through this before where you have your party at the select show in Baton Rouge and then all of a sudden you're making air reservations for the next day or soon after to get where you need to go. Yeah, they've handled it well here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been on task. They played with a high level of basketball IQ all game long.
Montgomery can't get the to drop. They'll head out of bounds. And in a 12-point game with 10.3 to go, the math doesn't work for UC San Diego, and the celebration is on for the Southern fans. UC San Diego will not foul. The Southern Jaguars, for the first time, have won in the NCAA tournament. They will play UCLA Friday nights.
Well, they did it with a unified defensive attack. We said coming into this game, you have two stout defensive teams facing each other like the Spider-Man meme. But when it all was said and done, it was the offense that was really clicking for Southern in spite of a great fight by the Tritons.
Sanaya Reed, the offensive star for Southern, 24 points, a career high. She was 8 of 10 from the field. She was the spark off the bench in the first half as Southern built up a 20-point lead, and they hold on to win by 10. So it'll be UCLA and Southern Friday night in Game 2 here at Pauley Pavilion. Richmond and Georgia Tech will get things started. Christy, it's been a pleasure.
You too,
Have
sir.
fun on Friday nights
You
watching
too.
these games.